Now this all started when I was pregnant with my second pregnancy in 2005. I'd just come back from a 2-day course learning all about blood, the chi energy of blood specifically, because I'm a reflexologist, and reflexology has its roots in Chinese medicine with meridian therapy. And during that time, I was totally fascinated by all the things about blood and what it does. So I came back from that, and on Monday, I was 12 weeks pregnant, and I was walking along and walked past Waterside Cafe, and I smelled the coffee, and my body said, "Oh, have a cup of coffee, Alison," overwhelmed me. And I thought, but I don't drink coffee. I know it doesn't do my digestion any good. But my body was saying I really want a coffee. So I thought, I'm following my intuition. So I went in and had a coffee. I had a decaf. I really enjoyed it. And afterwards I thought, oh, I feel fine now. And I started to walk home. And as I started to walk home, I started to bleed. And by the time I got home, and I lived 10 minutes away from Waterside Cafe then, I realised I was having a miscarriage. So I thought that's okay, I just need to deal with this, but I didn't stop bleeding. So 2 days later, my husband said to me, "I'm calling the ambulance." And the next minute, there was someone at the door, it was the ambulance, they wired me up, and they said, "We need to take you to hospital." I emergency transferred to hospital, and I had 8 pints of saline and 3 pints of blood. And a woman of my size is normally about 10 pints of blood. So I was virtually going to be bleeding to death. Now, when I finally came out, my husband said to me, "What do you want to eat?" Because he was really keen to feed me up. And I thought, oh, I'm going to connect to my intuition again. And I said, "I feel like moussaka." And he said, "Okay then, but you don't eat pasta or dairy." I said, "Yeah, no, I don't want that. I just want onions, courgettes, carrots, and aubergines." He said, "Okay then." I said, "Alright." So I thought, that's strange. Why do I want aubergines? So I looked up my book, which my friend told me about here. It's a Chinese medicine book telling you all the properties of food. And aubergine, and it said it's the only vegetable to cleanse the uterus.
Gosh.
I thought, wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I thought, well, I wonder what coffee does then. So I looked up coffee, and it said a excellent thing to help with elimination, but can cause miscarriages. I thought, shit. However, when they analysed the tissue to find out what was wrong with the fetus, they said it had been dead in me for 3 weeks. So I thought, wow, my body was telling me to have coffee to eliminate it. I thought, that is amazing. So then I thought, well, when I'm pregnant, I can't stand onions. I hate them. It makes me feel sick. And now I have this, and I thought, oh, I asked for onions in here. So I looked at onions, and onions help you detoxify. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. I need to follow this passion of finding out all these food properties. And this is part of what the book is about. Just to let you know, 3 months later, after me eating my aubergines and onions, I got pregnant again, and I had my second child. The other story that I want to tell you about is 2 years later, after my second child, so this is in 2008, I got a skin condition. I went to see the doctors, and they gave me various blood tests, and they said we can't find anything wrong with you. They couldn't offer me a solution, but these creams they put on, and I thought, well, I'm not going there. So I went to see a herbalist, and she's not here today, she's called Julie Russell, you might have heard her, but she told me that I need to do a detox because 2 years after you've given birth, your body naturally does a detox. Because during the pregnancy and the breastfeeding, your body doesn't want to detox because it doesn't want to eliminate the baby, it doesn't want to put toxins in the milk. So I thought, okay, I'll do a detox. And after the detox, I felt fantastic. I thought, this is amazing. And my skin condition improved. And I just carried on with that. 1 year later, during the spring, I got the same condition again. I thought, that's weird. Maybe I don't need to do another detox. So I did another detox, and I started to correlate that I always got this skin condition during the spring, but each year it's becoming less and less. And I thought, oh, I wonder what's going on in the spring. And during that time I was gardening biodynamically. So if you don't know what biodynamically means, it's gardening with the phases of the moon. So you can garden to optimise your veg production with the phases of the moon. And I was doing that and getting these carrots that were massive, and I thought, this is awesome. So I thought, well, I wonder if we can eat in tune with the phases of the moon. And I discovered that during the spring, your body naturally does a detox. And that's why I got this skin condition every year. And I just thought it was my stuff that I was detoxing. So I just thought, oh, well, I'll do a detox every spring. However, my kids gradually getting on, and they become even more demanding. And I thought, oh dear, I haven't got time to do it now. I'm here and there and doing this. And I thought, I've got to find a better way so that I'm doing detoxing more regularly and I don't build up this thing in the spring. And find recipes that are a lot easier. And that's what I started to do. And this is part of the recipes in the book. So this is the next T-junction in my life. I thought, yeah, this is what I really want to do. And then my husband got really ill. And he got a mental condition and a physical condition, and it totally drained me. In fact, it put so much pressure on the family that in the end he had to move out. And eventually I got a divorce in 2016. And during that time, I started to get hot flushes, sleepless nights, soft bones, what else do you get in menopause? Panic attacks, that's the other thing. And I eventually got an ear infection. And I just put it all down to me being totally run down. An ear infection I found really difficult to manage. I felt sick, so I started to not eat, still looking after 2 kids. I lost loads of weight, and eventually I took antibiotics and got better, and then started to be able to eat again. And the thing that I craved massively was fat. I thought, I want to have loads of fat. I thought, why am I craving fat? And then as I discovered, I correlated that actually these hot sweats, panic is actually perimenopausal. So I thought, well, what's fat? Why do I change fat? And I realised that during the perimenopause, women, and this happens with men as well, as we get older, our brain switches to using fat as energy instead of carbohydrate. So I was eating loads of fat and using my diet to help reduce the symptoms of menopause, and it made a massive difference to me. As I started doing this, I thought, wow, my clients came to me with bad backs, and they also had abdominal pain. And I thought, well, I wonder if, because I started having abdominal pain as the thing that started with this, I thought, I wonder if the thing that I'm doing would also help them. So I started telling them about it, and they started to get really good results. So one of my clients, she had really tight hips. They were really, and I could feel the grit in them. And I gave her all these recipes for dairy substitutes, because I had this thing of, well, I think you could be intolerant to dairy and gluten. So I gave her these recipes, and when I saw her a month later, and I was working with her hip again, and I said, "God, your hips, they feel silky smooth." I said, "Can you feel the difference?" She said, "Yeah, I can feel the difference." I said, "Oh, tell me what you've been doing." She said, "Well, I just followed the recipes that you gave me." I said, "That's amazing. We need to pursue this even more." So I started to give workshops and helping people understand diet, getting cookery demonstrations, and I started to give handouts. And this is when I started to write it down in books. So I'm going to just tell you a couple of stories of this now with food. So one of the things that I used to drink, was this. And I loved it. And I used to have it as my mid-morning drink. And then I started to notice that when I drank that, I would get this. And I thought, oh my God, you know, I feel as if I'm having a panic attack. And then I realised that because your estrogen levels drop as you go through the perimenopause, and that plays a part in balancing your blood sugar levels. So I was depleted in estrogen, go through menopause, and so my body couldn't deal with things that even taste sweet. So they may not have any sugar, but they taste sweet. So my body would then produce insulin and use up estrogen. And then you have a low blood sugar because there's no sugar there. So I had low blood sugar, I had no estrogen, had a panic attack. I just got to lie down and do nothing, and I know that it'll pass. So I thought, right, I'm not having this anymore. That's off the menu. I also noticed that chicken gave me low blood sugar levels. Another thing that happens when you go through menopause. And then I discovered, and this is very common, that carbs give me hot flushes. Yeah, if I eat them at the wrong time of day. So I used diet again to reduce the symptoms of the menopause. And I used exercise to stimulate my body to produce bone density. Because even if you've got all the calcium you need, if you're not stimulating it with weight-bearing things, it still won't produce your bone density. So I had more energy, I returned to my ideal weight, my skin condition improved, and I started more and more correlation with mood. And that's what I discovered. I'll tell the story. I was lying down, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, doing nothing, everything's calm, and I've had this massive hot flush. And I thought, what is that about? I haven't had any sugar, I'm not stressed. So I looked it up, and that is your kidney time. And when you're going through the menopause, your kidneys take over the job of producing estrogen as your ovaries retire from that job. So the kidney is rising its energy, do you see? And so that's why I thought, well, that's why I'm getting a hot flush at that time. So that was a real eye-opener. Has anyone got any questions? You okay? You all right with this?
I've got a question.
Yeah?
The tea, what was it?
Yeah, I want
Licorice. It's got licorice caffeine.
It's got licorice in it.
Yeah, licorice. So licorice tastes sweet. Yeah.
It wasn't the make, it was the actual.
No, it's not licorice. It's the licorice.
It's the licorice, right?
It tastes sweet. Yeah. Sorry. What was
I'm just curious, when you told the story about having coffee that you thought I was heard, but it was a decaf.
Yeah.
So
Still
there's no
deep.
caffeine in it.
No caffeine.
So it's not the caffeine in the coffee.
Exactly. It's not the
something
caffeine.
else.
It's not.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's
So
good.
the active ingredient is something as well as caffeine.
Sorry.
The active part of it.
Yeah,
is
the active
something
part
other than
is something other than caffeine. And this is why I think a lot of the chi energy of the product, of the food.
Yeah.
So, the book started to form, and I started to write about my client stories. I thought, oh, this is really interesting. And I finally got a publisher that was happy to publish it. I thought, great, this is fantastic. And guess what happened? It was in 2020.
COVID?
Yes! COVID came along, everything went to halt. So all my work stopped, and I thought, well, I've got to do something. So I went on a business mentoring course. And they really helped me connect to this passion that I have to help people recover from illness through diet and lifestyle, and not through medication and surgery. So this is where I'm going to tell you my dad's story, and I just want to give you a little bit of warning that I might have a few tears, okay? So my dad, he developed bowel cancer, and we at that time, so this was 1990, and he had surgery, had part of his colon removed, and then had a stoma. 7 years later, he started developing dementia symptoms, and eventually we got the doctor round to assess him. So the doctor came to the house. We didn't have mobile phones there, nothing like that. And he would have these blackouts and then be totally okay. And he was just showing his okay, normal self. And the doctor was about to leave, and then suddenly he demonstrated that he had no idea where he was. And he was talking about something else. And I said, there it is, that's it. And the doctor said, right, okay, we'll get him into hospital for a 2-week assessment. So he did that. He's writing it down in the appointment, and he turned to me and said, this is why we can't just cut things out of people, because it creates a bigger problem further down the line. And at that time, I didn't think anything of that statement at all. And I think I was working in computers, I was fixing computer problems then. I was not a health professional. So, now,
So that was because he had the bowels that he was saying.
yeah, they cut out, because he got colon cancer because there's something out of balance in his diet. This is the theory. And that if they got whatever it was that he was eating, diet and lifestyle imbalance, he may not have developed dementia, because they say dementia is the next diabetes. There's loads of people getting dementia now. Now, when I went on that course about the chi energy of food, just before the miscarriage, you're following me here, okay? I was to be introduced to the workshop with a statement from a speech that a North American Indian made called Chief Seattle. So he was told to sell the land to the President of America, which he thought, well, how can I sell it? I don't own it. And he said, sorry, the water that moves in the streams is the blood of our ancestors. And he also said, there is no death, only a change of worlds. So it made me think of that time when I had that blood transfusion. Because when I was having it, I was going like this. Please let it be really good blood. Please let it be really good blood. But then I started to realise every spring when I got that skin response, like, am I detoxing from the blood transfusion? What's going on? If that Chief Seattle speech, I can't just detox myself. I have to help loads of people do it. And that made me think, I really need to help people with this. It's like it's in me. And I feel my dad is here. You can see people in spirit world. He's right here. And I think, is he helping me with this? And when I get to the end of my tether, I think, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. I just think, Dad, you tell me what to do. You sort it out. So I have that. It's like I've got an ancestor with me doing this. It's not just me. So this is why I carried on. So I left the publishers because of COVID, but during my business mentoring, I found someone else to do the publishing. I thought, great! They were happy to do it, and I'm so glad that I did it with them, because they really helped me connect to far more of my passion. However, as always, something happened to them. The two directors parted their ways, and unfortunately the person I was working with had to go and not work with me. And I thought, well, I'm not working with the other one, so I was left in the lurch again. And this is where I found Uzma. So Uzma is an amazing woman. She helped me because I am dyslexic. I really struggle with things, and I say she handheld me through the torture chamber of Amazon publishing. So thank you very much for that last bit that she did. She just got me through the last finishing line, and I got it in my hand in May this year. So thank you as well.